So what I'm going to be talking about today is, what do buyers want? In the new economy, what's important to the buyers looking to make acquisitions? It's very important to be able to see things from their perspective. And I'm going to be covering 3 of those most important points. So in the new economy, when you're thinking about buyers, everyone's aware there's a lot of acquisitions that are going on, especially in the software technology sector. What is it they're really looking for in an acquisition? Well, first of all, I've listed up here 3 reasons, but there's far more than that. And to be honest with you, there's always the reasons that we're unaware of. There's going to be some specifics that may come out during the M&A process, and that's often quite an important aspect of engagement with those buyers, establishing some trust and getting good communication. But here are 3 common things that are wanted by buyers from an acquisition. Revealing number 1, ta-da, and it's assets. And what they want from those assets is repeatability and scalability. And what I mean by assets is, well, in fact, assets could be a whole host of things. Quite often people think about the software that they own, but that's not going to be the only asset that you have. It could be your customer base, which again is usually quite an obvious one. It could be your sales team. It could be your marketing. But quite often it's the processes that you have within your organisation. What is it that you do exceptionally well? What is it that has made you successful? And is that a process that you can repeat? Has it been documented? Have you made that process more efficient? And if you have, can it be made scalable? Typically, a company that is acquiring is usually a larger organisation, nearly always. And what they're often looking to do is to leverage that out into greater number of geographies, to perhaps they've already got a really good established customer base. And establishing those assets is one of the things that we do. It's quite amazing actually, is when we go in and we do our first analysis of an organisation that we're looking to engage with, there will be assets that we could call them diamonds hidden beneath their feet that they're not aware of because they get too close to them. Sometimes that those assets are very obvious and we can see them within a very short time. Sometimes there are some latent assets that actually with some work they can be polished and they can become not only something that's attractive to buyers, but it's also something that can be important to the ongoing business from day one. And that's just based upon a lot of experience that we've had. We know where to look, and we're looking at perhaps with a little bit more of an objective view, but with a view that has a lot of experience in your particular sector, and that's very, very important. And I think that's where we start to differentiate from a lot of M&A brokers, is our practical experience, and being able to bring that to the fore very, very quickly. Number 2 on my list is obviously reduced risk. And it's a fairly obvious one, but I think that's one that's perhaps is not examined closely enough by a lot of sellers. And that reduced risk, I think you can, if you haven't got process in place, if you aren't well organised, if you haven't thought through the M&A process, then I think the buyers can start to lose confidence. Because remember, engaging in an M&A process can be very, very costly for buyers. Even getting up to the stage of due diligence can be quite costly, especially if they're from another country. Not just in time and resources, but there can be an associated cost with that. It can even be travelling. It can be a distraction. So there's always a cost, and I think buyers are very wary of that. There are always lots of options for them. There are M&A companies that will be throwing out acquisition opportunities to them all the time, and they will need to be selective. But once they engage in that beginning of the process, they're always going to be looking for, is what I'm being told here genuine? Are there some facts to back that up? If we delve a bit deeper, is there going to be something that's going to unravel this whole M&A process so that we won't want to proceed? Because that is very much a risk. And once you get into the due diligence stage, which can be very, very costly, then that could put a buyer off. So what they're looking to do is to qualify out sellers at an early stage in the process. That's something that needs to be considered. We've got a 6-step process that we take our clients through to help make sure that we can reduce the risk for the buyers, but also get better engagement for our sellers. So that was number 2, reduced risk. Number 3 is, as I reveal, post-acquisition performance. This is something that is probably not talked about enough. In the early stages, when you're getting the buyers and the sellers together, a lot of focus is about the historical performance. But actually, in reality, what they're really wanting to buy is future performance. It's what happens when those two businesses come together. There will obviously already be an established baseline of business that will probably typically happen regardless of what happens regarding any acquisition. But the important part is what happens when those two businesses come together? What's the additional X factor of those two companies? And that post-acquisition performance is going to be really the key to the whole reason behind making the acquisition. It's got to justify the cost, and it's got to give them something a lot extra over what previously had. Buyers are looking always to see how with their acquisition they can improve the value of that business. It may be a division within their organisation, or it may be incorporated, but it's a case of 1 and 1 equaling 3 and 4 and 5. So they are the 3 reasons: assets, repeatability and scalability of those assets, understanding what those assets are, reducing the risk by ensuring that there's a good level of confidence for the buyers to move forward. That's predicated on a whole host of things that can be done on that one. And then post-acquisition performance is really understanding what are years 2, 3 and 4 going to be after that business has already been acquired. If you'd like to know any more information, then please get in contact. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate. Come and have a chat with us, and have a look on our website and our EVA framework, which is the wheel, and with the magic of video should appear over here somewhere. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to be speaking to you soon.